Hello and welcome to All That Matters, a family life program sponsored by the Coconut Grove Seventh-day Adventist Church. We are your hosts,
Thomas George
and Marilyn George. The objective of All That Matters is to equip our audience on how to manage various family dynamics, and the lessons will be derived from the experiences of our guests. And today we are privileged to have with us Mr. and Mrs. Samuels. And I am certain our viewers would like to get some background information on them. So, Mr. and Mrs. Samuels, welcome to All That Matters. We are going to start with you just telling us a little bit about yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we have been married for 27 years, originally from Jamaica, and we came to the United States in the early 2000, and we are in Florida right now, and we are also from the First Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm an elderly, and my wife, she's on the board as a music director, and we have 3 children, 3 boys, and that's what has been good to us.
Yes, we are also government workers, but we also own our own business from Jamaica, and then we are here on a different business where we run guest houses right now, and we have we are members of the church. I am a women's ministry advocate, as well as the choir leader, and I am author of the book Pirated.
Okay, so sounds like you guys are very accomplished individuals, and also, like you said, members of the faith, right? But let's go back to, you said 27 years of marriage. That's a long time. So can we go back to your wedding day? Describe what it was like.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Probably we should start with when we first met. Is that easier?
If it's easier for you, tell us how did you meet, and let's transition into the wedding day.
All right. Well, I was working with the government. I had left the Ministry of Justice and went on to the National Water Commission in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And they eventually sponsored me a scholarship to go back to university, and got the CPA status. And my first day at that college, which is now transitioned into a university of Jamaica, at that time it was called College of Art, Science and Technology, but now it is a University of Technology. And leaving the campus, I was rushing out to take the bus, and he was on the other side of the roadway, walking through the gate simultaneously. And I just noticed him because of his height, and and he was clean. He was so clean, so decently dressed. His clothes, his deportment, and so on. It turns out that we end up at the same bus stop. And I was still there, noticing him across the bus. He's on the bus stop, but we are on either side of the bus stop. And I jumped into my bus when it came, and it was an unfamiliar area, so I started paying attention to where I'm going. But it turned out coincidentally that he was in the same bus, and we came off at the same second stop, and then we end up on the same second bus. And this time the bus was so crammed and crowded that he was actually standing beside me, but we were in standing room, crowded together. And I was able to now notice the cleanliness of his fingers, so neatly cut and so on. And he smelled so good and so on. When I came off the bus, I had just bought a house in the area, so I forget about him and start paying attention to where I'm going to make sure I don't lose my stop. And in walking, when I came off, I felt the person put their hand on my neck, and I had my handbag, and it was a new area too where I'm going, so I was sort of scared. So I took my handbag and I swirled around to hit the person with the handbag, and I realized it was him.
Oh wow, wow. So then let's go forward. Who approached whom? Who spoke first? What was the conversation like?
Uh, I guess I just said hi, how are you, and so on, and so I guess I spoke first, and we're walking towards the same direction, so I accompanied her. I think I
But
accompanied her.
why did you approach her? Why did you approach her? Were you attracted to her just the same?
Yes, yes, I saw her on the bus, and I was attracted. I said, "This is a nice young lady. She looks decent." As she said, she was coming from the college,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, I like to get to know her, but I was a little timid. But I did approach her and struck up a conversation, and we started talking.
Okay, and then tell how long did you guys date before the wedding date was set?
Well,
Almost a year. Yeah,
well,
about a year.
I want to say something significant here that when he continued on the pathway to my home, when I reached a certain point, I said to him, I turned and stood, and he said, "Oh, you're one of them that don't want somebody to go to your house on the first time." And I said, "That's right. I don't allow strangers to my home." And then he said, "Okay, bye." But then when I walked off, I said, "You know what? You look like you're decent, so it's okay to follow me home," and so on. The very next morning, after we said goodbye and so on, the very next morning, my sister came and she was pounding on my door. "Someone is at the gate for you." And I said, "I don't know anybody in the area because I just come here." And he said, and she said, "Well, there is a man outside waiting on you, And when I looked out, it was him.
Okay.
I want to make note that from that day, he came every single morning and accompanied me to work. And every single evening, he waited for me at the bus stop. Until this day, we walk home together.
So it sounds like you guys found each other. It's like finding your soulmate. Is that what it is?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we, we are living in an age right now where marriage lasts a day, a week, a month, a year. Today happens to be our 21st wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. My question to you is, what kept you guys together for so long? What is the secret? What kept you going for so long?
Okay, let me go back a little. When I met her, I wasn't a Seventh-day Adventist. I wasn't even going to church. She invited me to church because she was a Christian lady, or still is, and her family. So I started to go to church with her on Sabbath. But before that, I guess I was getting a calling because I had another couple and some other people who were inviting me, and I used to go to like a tent crusade. So I started going to church with her. Of course, it felt strange. Going to church on a Saturday, on a Sabbath. But I persisted.
That's a very interesting story. So you said that you were not an Adventist before meeting your wife, right? So tell us a little more.
Yes, I was not an Adventist before I met my wife, but I was getting the calling because I was invited to some crusades by some friends, and I started attending these crusades. And then I met her, and she was a staunch Adventist. She invited me to church because she and her family used to go, and I started going. It felt strange the first couple of times. After a while, I get to like it, and I realized that from then that if I'm to be a Christian or Adventist Christian, I would have to stand out while others were worshiping on Sunday. We worship on the Sabbath. I eventually got baptized maybe about before we got married, and we move on. And God has been good to us, and we are still in the faith.
Okay. So
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to add that as a note to whoever is listening, that it's not wise to get involved with non-Adventist. And that was a pledge that I had made to the Lord. It's not wise to, even when somebody just get married, to go ahead and just get baptized, to get involved. That person needs to grow and turn staunch adulthood in the church, move from baby stage spiritually to, and so on. And those were principles that I had in place, but at the time when we started speaking, he had looked so familiar that particular night. In my mind, for that first week, before my Christianity was brought up, I thought that it was Seventh-day Adventist. I keep on saying to him, which church have I met you? Because, I keep traveling around, especially when to new, doing different programs or singing, following around these gospel groups and so on and things. So in my mind, I thought that I'd met him. He had on no jewelry, he just, he looked so Christ-like and everything. Anyway, after a while, when he disclosed that he's not a Seventh-day Adventist, and I said, "Are you sure?" Because I don't saw you and stuff like that. We just joke about it and stuff. Then I would bring in start introducing, what my principles are and so on. But as we get, and we never started out like that. But by his third week, he asked me if I would kiss him. And I said, I don't kiss strangers, especially just knowing them and so on. And furthermore, we're nothing. I would say that, but you could feel the strong pull from then. Error one. From that point, I should have backed out. I'm talking all about the should have, just to make the record clear to our young people and whoever will be listening, that you have to recognize Satan's plan and run. Okay, but however, in my mistake, I started rationalizing why I could talk 1 more week with him and it's just gonna stay as friend and so on, but it never did. We got deeper.
So, let's be clear here. Are you rationalizing the kiss, or did the kiss lead further into all the stuff that you were not supposed to do before you were married?
Let me say something.
One more, wait, baby, let me answer 1 minute. I'm rationalizing the reason to even still be seeing him.
Okay.
Having him visiting me, having him every day the same time, 1 o'clock at my lunchtime, he would call and so on, and you just get deeper and deeper involved and so on. And then I started putting out a decided effort now to point out my religion to him. And so we went into Bible study. Because I am here now saying to him, because he came outright and said, this is how I feel and I want to move forward. And I would say, this is how I feel, but this is my principle. And my pledge to my God above is that no man should get under my skirt except the man who put the ring on my finger.
Okay, let's say
that's really the Bible study.
Yes, Mr. Samuels, talk to us. I'm giving you just 45 seconds to do that, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that what she's trying to say is that maybe she should not have spoken to me because I was not an Adventist, because sometimes the relationship where people are unequally yoked doesn't work out. If you try to bring someone in the church instead of you bringing them in, they might pull you out, whether it be a man or a woman. So we have to be careful, especially young people who are dating, not to date someone who is not of the faith. But anyhow, in this case, it worked out.
God overruled.
It worked out pretty well. And of course, we got married. I eventually came into the church, as I told you, because I guess the Spirit was calling me, the Spirit was leading me. And so I went into the church and then we got baptized. I got baptized and we got married.
Very shortly after, yeah. I want to say also,
tell you what, hold that thought. We will be right back, okay? Because your story is so intriguing. We do not want to miss out on anything, okay? So we will be right back with Mr. and Mrs. Samuels.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is the People's Views and I am Teresa. This week's question is a very interesting one. Here it is. Would you stay in your marriage if your spouse cheated? Why or why not? Let's hear what the people had to say.
Please note that the views and opinions expressed on the People's Views are not those of the Coconut Grove SDA Church or any other SDA church or conference. The views and opinions heard here are strictly that of the general public.
I would not leave him if that was his first time, because I do believe that people make mistakes. There are temptations. It depends on what the marriage was going through. You know, you never know if, one person is falling out of love with the other person, or something could be just pretty much going on in their relationship. So for me, if it's the first time, no, because like I said, I do believe that people deserve second chances and people make mistakes. So we would definitely have to go to counseling and try and work through building back trust.
And honestly, I wouldn't, due to the fact that that trust that we've had is broken. And honestly, I don't think I would ever be able to get over that or kind of put that behind me, because it will always be like in the back of my head. And I don't know, I wouldn't be able to get past that. And even if I did get past it, like I would never forget. Like you forgive them, but you would never forget. And nah, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't get back with them. Life's too short.
I would definitely stay in my marriage if my husband cheated on me, because of the vow that we made before God and man, for richer or for poorer, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. And most of all, the Bible stated that we have to learn to forgive, because our Father in heaven will not forgive us if we don't forgive. And why I love my husband, and when I decided to get married, I made a vow before God that divorce will not be an option in my marriage. And we just have to learn to forgive each other and forget also, because if you don't forget, you will continually reminding the other person of what they did in the past. Thank you.
I say no because I feel like I would always be looking over my shoulder and questioning myself, is that person going to do it again? What are they doing now? This and that. Also, once they do it, I feel like they're going to do it again. It could be a year from now, 2 years from now. And what you allow the person to do is how a person is going to treat you. So therefore, if I accept them and they do it again, and I accept them again, they're just going to keep on doing it because they're going to be like, oh, she took me back. I can do what I want. I just have to say I'm sorry, blah, 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 and that's that. So for other reasons, also, they could put you in danger like that. By cheating on you, they could put you in danger physically. So I would not take them back.
That's a very tough question, but I will say no. And my reason for saying no is that if I'm trying to be a child of God, then I have to have it in my heart to forgive. Just like God forgave me, I got to forgive my wife also. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say that there won't be, changes, or things not going to be the same for some time. But still, I have to say to forgive, because God forgave me of my sins, and to be a part of Christ, I have to find that same strength to forgive my wife. That's my answer.
Well, there you have it, folks. Until next time, this is the People's Views. Bye.
Welcome back to All That Matters. And our intriguing guest today is Mr. and Mrs. Samuels. And we are going to do right now, how well do you know me?
All right. And the first question, when was the last time you told each other that I love you? Write it down, please, and let's see those answers. Okay.
And what is yours, Mr. Samuel?
I didn't say it.
That's not.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Samuel, do you know your wife's password to her phone?
Write it down.
Yes or no? And Mr. Samuel, does he know your password?
Write it down.
No, write down the answer.
Okay, we
yes.
see that.
Oh, don't show me. We don't want any hackers coming in, okay?
Let's see that. I didn't say it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, and then we're gonna have you guys to change that password when our programming is done, okay? All right, let's continue.
Who makes breakfast in the morning? Write it down, please. So far, 2 out of 2.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And let's just do a few more questions.
Okay.
What is your wife's favorite color? What is her favorite color? You write your favorite color also.
Okay.
Okay. Sure, what's your answer?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Who is the most spiritual in the home? Who always call for family worship, etc.? So far, what, 4 out of 4?
They're doing pretty good.
They're doing good, yes.
Okay.
All right, I see that.
Okay. All right. Yes, and the final question, okay, that's to you, Mr. Samuel. Did her parents approve of the marriage? And you write the answer to Mrs. Samuel. Did they approve of the marriage? Okay.
All right, we see that.
And we have a big yes, right?
Yes, 6 out of 6.
Yes, looks like we have a very happy marriage relationship.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much for participating in All That Matters. So you guys are accomplished individuals. Let's transition into money management. At what point in your relationship did your money, that's the both of you, become our money? Or is that what you are practicing? It's our money, or is it his and I have mine?
It's our money. We do the major things together. But what happened, we do have separate accounts because there was an issue with the bank where at one time she wasn't able to open an account or come on my account, that sort of thing. And I'm really the person in the family who manages the money, because I did accounts and money management and so on. So I deal with that aspect. and we put together our monies and plan and make major decisions, especially like buying major things like house, cars, that sort of thing, whatever we have to do with the schooling. And so that's where it's at pretty much.
Okay, okay. And I mean, we've said, or we've been reiterating that it's 27 years of marriage, and things change over a period of time, right? How do you guys keep increasing, keep changing the intimacy in your relationship? How do you spice it up? How do you go about spicing it up to keep it relevant?
Let me just make a quick mention here on the money management, which I wanted to clarify. That's why I was looking at it. And this is an advice to our people who are listening, because I'm thinking outside of us, each comment that we make. In my opinion, I think that we are supposed to physically bring the money together, or the both of us money is dumping together and so on, in one account or so on. Well, as he said, there was an issue, but separate and apart from that, as I said, he's not a person that talks or so on. So I still don't know the full measure of how much he gets for his salary. And yeah, or when he does a lot of overtime and so on. And I will say, I don't think I should keep on saying how much came on your salary this time or so on. I just think that we should put it together there on the table and so on and things. So sometimes, that cause a little drawback, because I think I'm doing full disclosure, and he's not doing full disclosure and so on. And in my opinion, that should be so. But he keep on saying, well, from you here one time, you should know. But that one time was 20 years ago or 7 years ago in the job. And I don't even know when he gets an increase. I can't keep up with his increase or his calculations and so on. And to me, that's my opinion. I should know. And if he will borrow money from somebody, he doesn't tell me he borrowed. I don't like that. And I think as couples out there, every move each of you make, it should be known by each other. And if somebody come and asks to borrow money or to come into some kind of business with you, you should say, let me consult my partner first. Give me a minute, give me a day. Doesn't matter how urgent they say it is. Give me a minute then or something. Because lots of time when it doesn't work out, or illegality comes into it, or conmanship or whatever, guess who finally come in the picture and have to be helping out to fix things? Me. Because he carries this character features and quiet, humble look and so on. You do have people who want to take disadvantage of him. And then I now have to come into the picture, and then I look like the dragon or the confrontational type and so on and stuff like that. And that is why my mom always said the both of us are so opposite. You don't say what on earth draw us together, because he's quiet and doesn't talk. I talk. I go and I do this, and I will argue and fight with people, not physically, but
Right.
go to the end of the law to get money outstanding for us. He won't do that. The people have his money with or so on, and he doesn't want to go and confront them for it and things like that. So, sometimes the Lord make the two of you different. Not sometimes. God have a good sense of humor, and you got to learn to respect each other's differences, because guess what? That complements and make you whole. I will come up with the ideas of business, and he comes in and make it possible to happen. And we both, and then I will do the marketing part, and he will do, the financial and different angles and stuff like that. And my son is now in the business and stuff like that. But when it come on to money collection, we would go bankrupt a long time ago if it was left up to him.
Okay. And we will be right back.
Thank you.
Matters, and welcome again to Mr. and Mrs. Samuels to All That Matters. And we are going to continue.
Yes, so after 27 years of marriage, is your love towards each other growing stronger and stronger?
Yes.
And
yes,
yeah.
at least me, I can say for myself, I know that I have grown to appreciate him more, and this whole COVID thing with us forced to spend some more time together have take us to another level as well.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Samuel?
Yes, I agree also. As we are maturing in our love relationship. We are no longer young people. So, and the kids are growing adults. So we, as you said, we spend more time together. We understand each other a little, much better, and it is growing definitely.
So
as we love, put this, as we love Christ, our love for each other has grown because we fall in love first with Christ and with each other. Christ is the center of our relationship.
So during those 27 years of marriage, now this is a very serious question. During those 27 years of marriage, has there been any occasion in your marriage that one of you had to sleep in another bedroom because of some misunderstanding?
Oh, sure. When you take someone for granted and so on, and when Christ is not in the picture, then it is a very, very slippery slope you're on. And I want to point out that when we after the marriage and the baby came in the picture and everything and stuff, I trusted him explicitly and everything. But then Satan came in the picture, and 2 times that caused us to end up in a different room. Once, a woman came in the picture, and the second one is he made decisions without telling me. So he has a communication problem. He's an introvert. He keeps to himself. And when I find out, he make a business venture without I knowing, it just turned everything upside down, and it tears down the woman coming in, tears on the picture. And how the woman come in, I came to America, leave him in Jamaica, and so it turns out that one of our workers that we left down there, it turns out that she had they turned out to have an affair. Let me put it that way. But the grace of God is so good, and when you have the Holy Spirit, he's with you, because I kept dreaming these dreams 21 years ago. For nearly a full year, I'm dreaming these dreams and so on. And I just could not understand, but the dream was the same. And when the person called me, identify themselves and everything, and say, telling me that I must leave my husband because they are now together and so on. But he had a humble spirit. And that is where our men need to come in place. Or either partner. You're supposed to be humble enough to say you are sorry. And you, the victim, supposed to recognize through the grace of God that he's genuine, and he genuinely wanted this marriage. And after begging me, and I said, that's it, you go your separate ways, and so on. He went and he found the pastor who was instrumental in getting him baptized. Because what I didn't tell you is that when things was getting out of hand in the dating, the friendship, I had stepped out of the picture, crying and everything. I called my pastor and I said, I have sinned. And this is the story. I met this guy, blah, blah. And I'm trying to get rid of him. And the pastor looked at me, Pastor Woodburn to be exact, in Jamaica, and he said, how do you know that God didn't put that young man in your way for you to save him, for you to be instrumental in saving him. Don't give up on him. I said, but I can't continue Bible study. It starts out all the while as Bible study and it end up somewhere else. And so he said, you know what? I will continue the Bible study. And
So,
I stepped out of the picture at that time. So when that gentleman was now our mentor, our adopted father, our pastor, he baptized them. They just called me the day and tell me, his wife, as a matter of fact, called me, something urgent, you need to come down to church. And it was a Wednesday night. And I said, what happened? She said, come to church. And when I went down there, lo and behold, there was him dressed in white gown in the pool. And I said, what? So how is it that he's getting baptized and nobody didn't tell me? Well, that was just a little redress and so on of how close we are to this pastor.
right.
And so on. So that's the same pastor he called and asked the pastor to speak to me on his behalf. And so I accepted him back. A light on that. Long distance affair, love affair does not work. Many of our people are getting involved in that, and it doesn't work. So we need to pay attention to that. The second thing is when you keep your body from your husband as a punishment, you don't think you are winning. You're not winning. You are sending him on the devil's territory. And that is why the Bible said, do not keep yourself away from each other unless you had an agreement. And then as soon as that agreement is over, you come back together.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just about to ask you a follow-up question. Actually for both of you, is there one thing you wish you had known about your spouse then before you all got married? Is there something you wish you had known about each other before you got married?
It's nothing serious about where she's concerned. It's only that I would say she's a neat freak, and I'm not that neat. So there's always conflict there where if I put my socks down, she'd want me to move it, or my shoes, and if I don't do it quick enough, she want to throw it away. Outside of that, sometimes, not that she talks too much, but I'm a more confidential person, quiet person. So she'll tell her mom some stuff which sometimes that happens in the family that I may not necessarily want everybody to know because of confidentiality. But nothing serious. I guess she just wants someone to talk with. But outside of that, everything is good.
Okay. And he doesn't just, it's not fast enough, he doesn't leave it. It will stay there for days. Then you can know when he reach home, you open the door, you know he's home because you see the shoes one point, the socks, the pants another point. And so on. So, but here on that. An adult woman at the church told me. Answer the question. I'm answering the question there. An adult woman at the church told me that there will be a point when I will have to close my eyes and mentally tell myself that I will accept him as he is. I have to close my eyes against the mess because it was causing constant argument and friction. And when she told me that, I looked into it and I said, I cannot change him. I will just have to accept him as he is. And I started praying and asked the Lord to change me first. Change me. Whatever is wrong in me. And maybe the Holy Spirit will reveal it to him and change him as well. And it has been working.
Okay, so you guys have come to an agreement in that regard, right? Where you accept certain things about him, right? And,
yes. And he's trying.
I appreciate the fact that you talked about infidelity in your relationship, and that you guys were able to deal with it. So much so that your relationship seems really strong right now just us listening to you. So let's talk about young people. What advice can you give to young people, taking into consideration the disappointments that you have encountered, how you have grown from your disappointments. What admonition can you give to people who are contemplating marriage, or people who are married and they are dealing with infidelity at the moment? Let's say your perspective, Mrs. Samuels.
Because right now we have a lot of young people watching right now, so they would, they would like to get some words of encouragement.
Yes.
Okay, I want to say that, well, marriage is a wonderful thing. God instituted, and it's something that has been abused, misrepresented over the years, but it's a wonderful thing. In a marriage, both parties have to work. You can't change the person, and you can't get into a marriage and expect that the person will change. Only God can change people. So whenever you met that person, whatever they are, it doesn't necessarily, if you try to change them and try to work on them, it's not going to work. You guys have to come to an agreement. And one person said, in a marriage relationship, try not to be, you have to be selfless. Try not to please yourself, but try to please your partner so that the marriage can work. You have to give and take, in other words, compromise. Don't let every little thing bother you or worry you. Don't stress yourself over minor things, but work together. It's a work in progress. Because we know the enemy is not playing, and he wants the marriages to break down, to say, yes, marriage can't work. And nowadays, sometimes marriages only go for 2-3 years, and a lot of people end up in divorces, and it's affecting the families, the children, the whole entire world when marriages break up. But I just want to say, marriage is something you have to work on every day. And the best, what you also have to do is to put God in it first. God has to be the head, and then you follow what he says, or follow his lead. And that's teeth and tongue will also meet, but before you go to bed, you try and sort out your problems.
Speaking about teeth and tongue, right? What brought you to your senses? What brought you to admitting that, you know what, I need to reconcile with this woman that I love very much? Was it just guilt, or was it the love that you felt for her that brought you to your senses? Or was it the shame of people in your neighborhood knowing of what was going on, if they did know what was going on? What are the steps that led you to where you are right now?
You know what? It's a combination of all three. Yeah. The guilt, and I first of all, I realized that I disappointed God first. I failed God, and I also failed her. And I didn't want the marriage to break up because I love her, and also for the sake of the children. So it's a combination of everything. And I made a mistake, and I was glad that she was able to still accept me, and we were able to move on.
Amen. And we are very happy to hear that. But let's transition into money.
I want a quick thing here.
Yeah.
Do I have the time? Okay. I want to say that one of the thing is, when you have a problem in your marriage, it make no sense, or it is a very unwise thing to walk and tell anybody at all, or anybody. What my aim was to preserve his reputation and his integrity as much as possible. So to this day, not even my family members know. No, nobody know. I never tell anybody, apart from the pastor, as I said, to come in and have the talk with him and beg me to reconsider and stuff like that. But nobody knew. Okay. And another thing is, but once that trust was broken, it keep on rearing its head. And so I'm not going to gloss over the fact that lots of time, even to this day, if his phone ring and he doesn't answer, that you can hear the devil bringing back that I wonder if, and so the essence of it is transparency. has to be a must to rebuild that wall, because you can take years to build the trust and so on, but it takes just 1 minute, one slip to make that trust be destroyed. And once it is destroyed, it leaves that party very vulnerable, because you have invited a third enemy into your bed, and it clears mental head.
What is that one thing that you really love and appreciate about each other?
Well, I really appreciate the fact that he's such a calm personality. He's a humble guy, very hardworking. I can trust him with my children. You know, some men, you can't leave the children with them because they let them fall off the bed. They don't remember to feed them or anything. No, he wasn't like that. You can trust him with your money lie around the place and so on. He is patient. He is so calm spirited, like a big, nice, sweet, huggy teddy bear. And more than ever, as I watch the Lord use him, as I watch he grows in Christ, it's the Christ in him that I have finally learned to trust. Because if he was growing in Christ to the point now that he's an elder and treasure of the church, he's a mentor. We are family life leaders. I've served in that capacity for many years and so on. He followed me on all my interviews, on my radio and TV interviews about my book, autographing. He's the wind beneath my wings and so on. If I never see that Christ in him, I would not have any hope or anything to hold on to, because I would keep thinking that, you know, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Okay, so
Let him answer. Andrew, what is that one thing you really love and appreciate about her?
She says several things. It's more than one thing, right? She's well, first of all, she's a woman who loves God. She's kind, compassionate, a real good mother, especially not just to her children, but to other children in the church and our siblings, our nieces and nephews, and so on and so forth. She would give away the skirt of her body if someone asks her to and go without, because she has even done that, and I've seen it where she give away some. But guess what? Because she is so blessed, I've seen her give away maybe a couple pairs of shoes.
Yes.
A week or so after, she gets a whole box. So she's very kind,
literally.
compassionate.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I know I did ask you a question on intimacy. Let's table that for a moment, okay? And let's ask you the question: what is the one thing that you'd like to say to each other that you have not found the opportunity to say? Whether it's to I appreciate you, or something of that sort. What is that one thing that you'd like to say today to each other? If we gave you that chance, what would it be? What would you like to say to your wife, or you to your husband right now?
Well, for me, I just want to say thanks for tolerating me, for putting up with me, for helping me to be a better person by motivating me and helping me to be a better person. And I just want to thank her for being a wonderful mother, and really loving me, taking care of me. She's a wonderful person. I love her.
Oh. And Sister Samuel, I see that really touched you.
We understand. I mean, it happens.
Yes.
I just want to thank God, first of all, to bring him into my life, because I had given up on ever getting married. I had every year in my youth and so on, I keep on just dumping one Adventist guy after the other, because all of them were just basically doing the same thing that the guys out the road would want. You know, and there was really very few small thin line of demarcation. And after the fine last one say that he's no longer, I found out he went and get married because he was having an affair with another girl while still with me. I just call it a day. And I remember the same pastor that got us married, his wife was the one who said to me, Cavell, you were not made to be alone, not your personality, not that type of person you are. You have now grown into a solitaire. You're not like that. And I tell her, I'm okay. I said, I'm okay. I live off the memories. And she said, no, go down on your knees. And I hope one day she watch this. I know. She said, go down on your knees and describe the person you want. I notice you like tall guys. I notice you like professional guys. I notice you like guys who can sing and so on. Describe exactly what you want. And I remember she said, kneel down. And she pulled me on my knees. And she said, start it. And I did. And so on. And I did. And I kept up that prayer. And I didn't realize that the Lord literally had landed this guy in my lap with the exact description of what I asked. And I am just so overwhelmed with gladness and praise to God Almighty. And I cried right through my wedding, right through, right walking right up. If you see my, because I was just crying because tears of joy. Even people that were peeping outside and so on through the church lattice windows was just, you know, it was just an emotional wedding because of him. I want to tell him, thank you for being my husband. I want to thank you for coming home every night. From this guy and I'm married, he never miss a night coming home. And I want to thank you for working so hard to ensure that we have the best in life. And I want to thank you for being such a good lover.
I just want to say I want to got 2 out of 3 out of tall, handsome, and professional. And I can't sing.
I
can't carry notes in a pocket.
But here, we're going to leave with this question. Describe to us the best date night and what was it like? Your best date night and what was it like? Yes.
You know, it was those days when you used to come and take me on those long walks right up to the hillside, and there was an ice cream store right there, and a few wooded benches underneath a tree, and the sea was right there. The area was what again? Bull Bay? Not Bull Bay. Bay Shore in Jamaica, right by the shore of the bay. And every Sunday night or Saturday night after church, I could listen for the gate to knock, and nothing seems as exquisite. Even all the finest restaurants now that he would take me to, and so on, doesn't match those days. Just walking, the two of us hand in hand, I miss those days so much. Lots of time I say to him, why don't you take me on walks again that we hold the hands and just buy the ice cream? Well, we don't eat ice cream anymore because you know, we are off lacto. But you know, just a simple thing of enjoying each other's company in God's nature.
Is that the same for you, Mr. Samuels, the date night you described?
I didn't remember that part, but that sounds, yeah, it was very wonderful. I didn't realize that she appreciated that much. But as she said, I like being close to nature and just especially the seaside and just being out there with her having fun. It's not about going to expensive places or so. I just the company and just doing simple things, maybe walking in the sand, on the beach, kicking the sand, looking up at the stars, simple things that doesn't cost much, but it means a lot.
Very good. And what matters the most to you?
At the end of it
At the end of it all, what matters most to you?
End of the relationship, end of what?
Yeah.
Life?
Yes, life in the relationship that you are in, what matters the most to you?
Well, as Seventh-day Adventist Christians, what matters most is that we make it into the kingdom of God. Nothing else matters but that. And I want to make it, I want my wife to make it, my children, my family members, and all that, all those people we know, because we are here, we're going to be just here for a while. And like a flower, we are here today, we're gone tomorrow. And as we all know, the only thing we can take with us is our character. And we just have to develop a character like Christ.
And,
that's all that matters.
And I just want to say, along with that, because I don't want to repeat what you said to take up time, that I totally endorse that. And also, I really, above all things as well, wish for him to have more time with me, you know. Our work and business and church have taken up so much time now that we're like passing trains. Our schedule, you know, he leaves 4 in the mornings and we just do a quick prayer kiss by. He comes home by, you know, dark up again, 8, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock sometimes. And he's too exhausted to talk or, you know, or so on. The most I can do is just give him a massage, you know, do his face, cut his toenails, you know, and so on, and give him a hot cup of tea. He can't even eat a meal with me and stuff like that. And then on Sabbath now, you know, they want him to, he has so many things at church to do. So it's like, and then tomorrow he's going in because he wants to do overtime and stuff. And so that is a burden of my heart for us to be at this point wherein we are just like passing trains, you know, and I really want that to change. If it's even to go back to the old time days of simpler life, you know.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. It has been a very interesting one. And one that we learn quite a bit from for you know, to practice in our own relationships. And we hope our viewers that you did learn something from the relationship of the Samuels. And we'll see you again on All That Matters. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And God bless you.
Thank you. It is a very profound statement, yet oftentimes overlooked. It is a statement from the marriage vow, for better or for worse. For worse can be a very challenging and sometimes life-altering moment. For worse, oftentimes reveal the true nature of our human character, and if the true essence of love is diluted, then for worse can lead to the end of a beautiful union. Marriage is a blessed and wonderful institution, an institution where married couples have the privilege to learn and to grow and to help each partner become the best him or her. Marriage challenges us to exercise the gifts of forgiveness, selflessness, understanding, and compassion. Marriage even compels us to love another person just as we love ourselves. And although this wonderful, heartwarming institution can challenge us beyond measure, remember love, true love, the essence of our living, will aid in our ability to make the right decision. A love not of human understanding, but of godly inspiration, will help and heal any challenged relationship and will strengthen a strong union.
So till then, make the best of this wonderful union. Learn each other's love language. Make your partner feel wanted. This has been All That Matters.